Hi guys, Patrick from Wrestlingnerds, and I'm gonna do like the kind of part 2 to the video. I've kind of just been busy with work and stuff, so I've kind of like lost track of just working and with work and kind of meant to do part 2, and it's been on the mind. I've also got another video I need to edit. It's totally something different as normal, and I still need to record the review. I know it's taken a long time, but we'll get there. We'll get there because it don't really like time consuming. Time now, it doesn't. I really don't think it matters. It's more you want a review, you'll get a review. The price thing, season's over. I was very late with it, but I can update what compared to last season and stuff like that. But we'll leave that to when that video comes out. So this is part 2 to the video of coming home. Obviously you would have seen that. If not, go back and watch that to kind of see, because I'm going to kind of just pinpoint it down to certain bullet points and kind of explain more into detail of that. So I'm going to just really start off when I left the apartment. So I left the apartment, I actually walked out at about 2:20, and it wasn't raining. The weather was actually okay. It was just really, really windy, and planes had kind of started to land, which were diverted. And there was like planes that, some planes were diverted to like Athens and everywhere like that. And they just weren't risking taking off and stuff because I didn't know what the conditions were in Athens. But yeah, there was a lot of planes that tried to land, and there was planes coming into land. So I checked, and these planes were landing. So I thought, good, I'm going home. I'm definitely going home today. There was no problems. As soon as like the taxi come and get in the taxi, I think it was like I got to about where Legends is, and it just started to chuck it down with rain. And I was sat there like in the cab. I was like, that's okay at the minute. And it wasn't bad rain. It was like the rain that I've seen before when you've gone on holiday out there. We got to, basically the taxi driver, when we got onto basically past the outskirts of Sidari, and you're going up into the hills, the hills that you see when you're coming in and leaving Sidari, you go around these hills and they're like, like kind of like that. As soon as we basically got to the top, it just choked it down. So like, it was really bad. I looked out the window and I couldn't see anything out the window. It was just rain. God knows how the driver did it. My Corfu driver were amazing. But yeah, he just got us to the airport, well, into Corfu town. And then like when you're going into Corfu town, there's like, you can kind of see the water on the road. Like, well, now obviously you can see that water coming in on the road and stuff, but like there's a bit where you can look out on the sea, so you come through a bit of the town and then you go around the sea. And I don't know, it's not a beach or anything on the other side of the road, but it leads up to the docks and everything like that. And I looked out to see across and I couldn't see anything over the water. It was like, what the hell, I've never seen this. So we get to the airport, and I get out the cab, and the wind literally blows me near enough off my feet. It's like, like that, and it is just chucking it down, and I'm thinking, I might not be going home yet. So I get into the airport, like I was like, oh, I'm gonna have a cigarette. I tried to have a cigarette, and it was one of those things. I stopped there, I put it in the packet, and thought, I'll try again later before I go, after I check in. So I go to the check-in desk. I'm told I am early. I am 45 minutes early. So that was a bit of an annoying thing. I was like, okay, I really want to go for something to eat. I really want to have a drink. And so I ended up going back out, watching the rain and in that wind, getting drenched. And then kind of just going back in like half hour later. And then the nice woman just said, right, I can get you on the system now. We can check you in. Which was I do appreciate that with the airport. So then I'm like, right, I'm going to go out for another cigarette. It was even worse at this point, but I managed to get my cigarette, which made me happy. And this is the thing that I shouldn't have done. I went into proper to go into the departure line. With the weather being the way it should have done, I should have waited. I know there's not much to do on that side of the airport, but if I knew what I knew now, I would have stayed in that area at the airport for at least another hour. I would have stayed for at least another, well, knowing what I know now, I could have sat there for another 2 hours and it not being thingy. But I got through, obviously, like security, and it's like, I've heard a lot of different stories with security at East Midlands. I've never had a problem. Literally, I got through straight away. Literally, didn't even have to take my laptop out of the bag. Just to take your liquids. I always carry my liquids in a little bag. So they were already ready just to take out, chuck in the thing. And I went to go and take the laptop out, like, compared to Eastman. And then the woman's like, no, it's fine. Go through. Took my, obviously, belt off, went straight through. No, that's fine, get your stuff, go. So I had a look around duty free, and that was empty. Like, not empty as stop, but just with people. And I thought, airport's quiet. Then it was when I got through the other side. If you've not been, I've not filmed this area of the airport. I don't know what it is like to film in the airport. I don't know if there's any laws, security laws or anything like that. But you get through now, and it's like a total new departure lounge. This is for, I think, flights going into Europe and probably elsewhere in the world. And there's like a Burger King, Starbucks, and there's a cafe as well. I went to go to Burger King, and it was like the queue. I was in the queue for 10 minutes and I didn't move. So me being Patrick, I got annoyed and I just went, stuff this, because it was busy. I understand it was busy, but, not moving in 10 minutes, I was like, I'm not doing this. So I leave, and then me being me, in my head, again, knowing what I know now, I wouldn't have done this. I went straight into the next bit. I went into the departure lounge, which is the classic departure lounge. I went in there and I shouldn't have gone. I should have stayed where Burger King is and should have stayed there, knowing what I know now. So by the time I get through there, it is probably about 10 past 5. After I get through security, the first depart into the next departure land, it is about 10 past 5. Everything on my flight coming into land looks well. I get there and Jet 2 flight's still there from 11 o'clock in the morning. I get talking to people and people were telling me some people had been there since 8 o'clock in the morning, at the airport since 8 o'clock in the morning. They were meant to be taking off at 11, then they got told they were taking off at 12, then they got told, their plane was, as soon as it landed, they were taking off. They was in the airport with this weather while I was there. I think a lot of them got sent home after 7. So, when I was there, that was another 2 hours. So there was 2 flights with Jet 2. That was Edinburgh, and I think it was Newcastle. I think Edinburgh got cancelled first because the plane just couldn't land. If you looked out the runway, you couldn't even really see the runway. It was really, really dangerous. With the updates, there wasn't really any updates on the flight. The plane was meant to land it, I would expect about... Well, the way that they do turnovers and stuff, probably just after 6, it didn't land. I was watching it on a tracker, it was just hovering over the island, and this is where I started getting stressed. The Jet 2 plane got cancelled. Obviously, Jet 2, as a package company, basically put their people in a hotel. Second Jet 2 flight gets cancelled. They put their hotel, and because the weather's this bad, I'm now sat there thinking, I might not be going home. I'm texting people in England saying, I'm not coming home. I don't think I'm coming home. I am shitting myself. I am not coming home tonight. I kind of go and speak to someone after 7 o'clock and they said, look, how does this work? I need to know. I need to maybe start doing a plan B. The woman says the plane is still not attempted to land. It will attempt to land. Then they'll make a decision from when it attempts to land. Being with Ryanair, this is one of those things. You don't know what's going to happen with Ryanair. So the plane actually does, the skies clear up, and there was probably about 20 minutes of just clear. It was still windy, and then I was watching the tracker. I saw the Ryanair flight move, the one I was meant to be on, after 7, and I'm thinking, it's going to land, and it didn't. It just went straight over the island, and it went to refuel. And then I just put my hands like that, and I'm like, oh God. So at that time, I got talking to other people. I was, got talking to other people. They were doing a plan A. They were doing a plan A. They were doing a plan B. They were doing plan C's. This was a point where I was like, maybe I'm going to wait because the sky cleared up a bit. And then I thought, maybe I might be lucky. They'll refuel. They'll come back in an hour or whatever it takes. They'll land. I'll be going home. No. So, this is what happened. So, the first Ryanair flight attempted to land. I think it was Liverpool. They couldn't land. So, what they did was then send... There's there's a story. I don't know if this is true. So, the Ryanair flight on the 7th of October to Liverpool. Basically, the people from Liverpool coming to holiday on Corfu were basically diverted to Athens or wherever in Greece. Went to take off. Went to land in Corfu. The plane couldn't land, attempted it again, couldn't land, and flew off. And then flew him back to Liverpool. That is the God's honest rumour that went round, on the social media pages the next day, is that they flew him back to Liverpool. So imagine you flew 3 hours, you were hovering in the air for an hour, you land in Athens for probably an hour or two, and you take off, and then they go, no, we're not doing this, we're going home. How would you feel? You would be fuming. You've been on a plane for like 11 hours, like a long haul flight. But yeah, that was like one of the rumours. But the first Ryanair flight was it was like an Eastern European one, and they got told they were going to put them in a hotel when it got cancelled. So I was like, oh, I don't need to do a plan B, and I didn't think of a plan B. I was like kind of that mindset where I was like, okay. Then the Ryanair Liverpool flight got cancelled, and I was just sat there and I was like, I need to plan B. So the thing was, I started looking online for hotels around Corfu Airport, and there was nothing for me. There was nothing. There was like, booking.com everywhere. I was doing my research, and the thing is, the prices were good. It was kind of like, oh yeah, you can check in, like, if need be, 20 minutes time I could get a taxi. But it was just like, they were all sold out, the ones that were nearer and stuff like that, and it would have mean travelling. So then the backup plan, I did start thinking in my head, do I go back to Sidari? Do I pay €57, get a taxi? Because I can get somewhere, put my head down, I know people in Sidari. I put a message out, text people, I'm stuck, I need somewhere to stay for a couple of nights till I get a flight sorted. Can you help me out? The thing is, I think I would have been okay with that. But I think my plane attempted again at about 10 o'clock. Yeah, it was about 10 o'clock. It came into land, and it did. It was one of those moments where I don't really know anything about being a pilot, but I think with the masts, when it's windy, it's better not to go over the sea. And I said this to someone who was having a conversation. It was actually because we play Flight Simulator. Me and this guy were just having one of these like really conversations. And I said to him, I goes, I won't come over the water though, because wouldn't it? And we was talking science. I still don't understand it, but I said, I don't think I would have come over the water. I think that's going to be more of a, you're going to get more turbulence and stuff. And, he kind of agreed at my theory, and we kind of had the sciencey talk. So we basically watching the flight tracker, and I said, if it comes over the city of Corfu Sidari, I reckon it will land. Everyone was like, are you being serious? Are you crazy? Have you seen how windy it is? That plane is going to attempt it and not land. I was like, if it comes over, I reckon it'll land. It landed at around 10, just after 10. And this is what amazed me with Ryanair at this point. They got us on that plane by 11:15. It was that fast. They were literally like, as soon as the plane landed, as soon as these Corfu Sidari stuff put their things on the plane, it was, right, go. There was like, we're boarding you now, we're getting you out of Greece. So we're literally like, everyone was running. I needed the toilet. I still had half a pint of beer, and I'm there like, running, like, I get to check in, we literally go down, waiting out, for that few minutes where you're waiting for the buses. They chuck everyone all they can on the bus. Fuck COVID, basically. That's what I'm saying. Fuck COVID. Get on that bus. We get on the bus. Probably didn't even clean the plane. That kind of thing. That's how rushed it was. We like running on the plane. We get seated. Everyone, they're like, right, we're going to go as soon as we get clearance. And then all of a sudden, I think it was just after 11 o'clock Greek time, they make an announcement. Oh, sorry guys, we've got to wait. People from the Liverpool flight have rebooked to get on this flight. So we are now going to wait. And I was sat there and I was like, oh, for fuck's sake, I just want to go. Just get us off this island. And the first time in a long time, I was like, I want to go. I genuinely just want to get out of there now. So we, waited 20 minutes, these people, no sign. The pilot then turned around and said, look guys, I'm sorry, but we can't risk this. We're going to have to let these, we're going to have to go. We're going to have to go. And he said, we're going to have to tell those people, we can't risk it. You're going to have to rebook, sort it with Ryanair. And he pretty much told them to walk off. And we got off about 11:15. We left Greece, and like kind of there was no turbulence. It was quite a smooth flight. And, I got back in England about 12:30 English time, so it wasn't, after probably about 6-7 hour delay, I think I worked it out, it was a 12-hour journey home in the end. In reality, it should only take, I reckon, 6 hours at max, and it was a 12-hour, doubled that time. And it was an eye-opening experience. It was scary at the idea of that I might not be coming home. you know, when you're in that mindset. I love Corfu, but it was one of those things where it was a scary. So in the short term, I'd rambled on quite a bit, but in short term, it has been a mad experience that was. And if you've listened this long, I do appreciate all your support. But yeah, to review it up, Ryanair didn't offer any free food, even if we had been in the airport that long. The airport didn't even offer us a drink, you know, and that's the thing that annoyed me with Ryanair. That wasn't the only thing. I appreciate they got us home. They were fast at sending out the compensation forms. If I wanted to make a compensation claim, I wasn't bothered. They got me home, and the flights were dead cheap anyway, so there's no point in trying to claim any money back. But the only thing that annoyed me was, you know, they didn't offer us a drink on the plane. It was pretty much, we're going to still take your money. And that was the annoying thing, that we were made to wait, you know. For me, I was in that airport for about 6 hours, and yes, I had money, but, you know, it was just common courtesy. Like, I know it's not your fault, but, you know, some people probably spent up a lot of money waiting for that plane. You know, there was families in there, and they're probably, you know, I'm not being funny, Corfu Airport isn't cheap. For a pint of beer, it's like nearly €6 now. But I will go into the price thing at a later date, and I'm going to leave it as it is now because I've gone on for 17 minutes. And you guys are probably bored now. So guys, that was my journey in a very long talking video. I will do the review video in a couple of days. Probably get that up by next week. I've also got another video that needs editing, and we'll be back to just doing some random wrestling nerd stuff soon. So guys, I've been Patrick. Thanks for watching my YouTube journey, because you know how it is. See you later. Bye.